Welcome to another episode of So It's Not Just Me, the podcast where we discuss how our lives have shaped our futures, things that change us as a person, and how things affect our mental health. Today, I'm really excited to say I'm joined by Damon, and we're going to discuss how Damon was brought up and things that have led to the person, the man he is today. With that, Damon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Damon. I'm 35 years old. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. Um, no, that's about it. That's all. No, I, I enjoy sports, have video games, wrestling as well.
Nice.
I'm very outgoing, very down to earth. Sometimes I keep to myself because I was born January 2nd, 1989, so I'm a Capricorn. So, if you know the Capricorn traits, then you already know how they are.
Yep.
But overall, I'm just a down to earth person, happy to be alive, happy to be to see another day that God has given us. So I'm
Nice.
just
Nice.
living every day, you know, the same.
Awesome. Are you still in Miami now? Living?
Yes, I'm still in Miami now living. I do plan to move to Newport Richie next year
Oh,
in
nice.
February, March. So, because I love it up here, it's
No,
it's a
so
it's a
I'm in Palm
difference.
Harbor.
Oh, you're in Palm Harbor?
Yeah, I'm in Palm Harbor. So I'm super close to Newport Richie. It's just above Tarpon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 20-30 minutes away from Newport
Yeah.
Richie.
Yeah, I go
Hmm.
to Tarpon fairly often. I like it in Tarpon Springs. But we've not ventured up to Newport Richie yet. We keep saying we're going to, but we never do. So we might have to come and find somewhere nice to eat up there maybe and explore a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah,
But
it's
I've
really
heard
it's
it's
really
nice.
nice. The area is really nice. You should explore.
Yeah, we'll have to venture over. So I'm going to jump straight in. I know a few. I know a little bit about your upbringing and things, but um, talk to me like I know nothing. So you was raised by your aunt and your godmother, is that right?
Correct. I was raised by my great aunt, who is my mom's aunt,
Okay.
and her partner had became my godmother. Like my mom made her the godmother, so I was
Nice.
raised by them too. Um, growing up because my mom, she couldn't take care of me at the time because she
Okay.
was going through a lot. So they stepped up and told her like, "Look, we'll take care of him until you get back on your feet and stuff like that."
Oh, that's really kind of them. That's really good.
Mhm.
Um, I know my my dad for a short period of time had a very similar situation where he was brought up by one of his aunts just for a short period of time, um, and I know it can be difficult to be not in the home with your parents, um, and not knowing exactly who to turn to when you've got your parents and the great aunt who's bringing you up and things like that. Um, was it just yourself that went to live with them?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Actually, a year later, my mom decided to have another kid. I thought, even at 1 years old, I felt like I was going to be the only child. So she had a daughter, so I had a sister, and also too, my sister, they took care of my sister as well. So it was me and my sister, like throughout, I say at least the 14 years until I turned 14. It was mostly me and my sister.
Was it from birth that you lived with them, if you don't mind me asking, or was it
Yeah, it was
from
from
birth?
birth. Like the stories that they told me, right, right as soon as I came out the womb, my the the one that she named godmother, when she saw me, she was like, "That's it. I'm keeping him." And my mom was like, I mean, she at first she didn't want to, but then she saw how her situation was, and then she was like, "You know what? Just keep him and take care of him." And then
Yeah.
ever since, she's taking care of me and they've raised me.
Nice.
Sorry.
It's okay. Um, did you know straight away that they weren't your parents? Because that's something that can be confusing for a kid. You're living with these people, and when you read like storybooks or you see TV shows, kids are living with parents. So, did they tell you straight away that they weren't like your mum, or did you get to an age where you suddenly realized?
I got to an age where they told me.
Right,
So I can't say like I grew up like all those years and then suddenly one day I found out. They specifically told me who my mom was, and it's funny because I have a good memory. I can remember, and it's funny how I don't even know how I remember this, but I can remember my first birthday where it was like a Mickey Mouse themed birthday. I remember all that. I don't know how, but I remember all that stuff, all that stuff that they did for my birthday. But no, it was they. I got to a certain age. I say 3 or 4, and I understood that who they were, and I understood who
right,
my mom was because also too my mom, even though she let them have me, like, to take care of me, she still came around. So she
right.
was still, yeah, so she was still come around and check up on me and see how I'm doing and
Still on the
things like
scene,
that. Hmm.
very much involved still. That's nice.
Hmm.
That's good of her. So there's yourself and your sister. Is there any other siblings?
Yeah, I have a little brother too.
Okay, and what's the age difference between that?
My brother is 3 years younger than me.
Okay, so there's 1 year between you and the sister, and then
Yeah,
three
there's
between you.
right. There's 1 year
Okay,
between me and my sister. Well, 11 months to be precise, because my mom couldn't wait. And then there's a 3 year difference between me and my brother.
right. And did did he come as well, or did he stay with your mum?
Actually, he stayed with my grandma.
Oh, okay,
My mom gave him to my grandma. My grandma
right.
wanted to take care of him.
Okay.
But the thing about it was we all lived on one street. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so like literally like the house is there's my brother and my grandma. They lived on one side of on like the corner of the street. There was an empty lot in between, and then in the empty lot between the house that was next was our house with me and my sister and my godmother and my great aunt. So we were literally down the street from each other.
Oh, that's really handy. That's really handy.
Hmm.
Um, where I'm from's quite kind of like that. So I'm from a mining village, um,
Okay.
and basically all of my family live on the same street. Well, same 3 streets maybe. So,
Oh,
and it's
that's
quite a small
nice.
village. So it's one of those things that's great, but at the same time, they know where you are. So if you're not home, they know.
That is true. That
Yeah,
is
so it's
true.
like the best thing and worst thing at the same time.
Mhm.
It's not the reason why I moved to America, but you know, nobody knows where I am anymore. How how was your relationship with your siblings? With obviously one brother being with your grandma, your sister being with you. How did that affect your relationships? Or did it?
um, it did. It really did. My brother, me and my brother didn't get along when we was little.
Right.
Me and my sister, since we would live with each other, we were like close, like tight, like, they were calling us twins and stuff like that because, yeah, we do look alike a little bit, but we were always together. We will always play together. We will always go everywhere together. As for
Right.
my brother, he was basically on his own, and my grandma, she kind of envy how we were living and how we were, and
Right.
we didn't when we and like we didn't include him in it. So it's kind of like she was kind of like, I can't say resentful because that's a harsh word to say, but she was like kind of jealous how, like, we were two. Me and my sister were so close together, and how we were, and how we were like raised, and how we things that we got.
Yeah.
And besides from my brother, he didn't get the things that we got. He didn't spend time with us. He was basically alone. So it
Right.
kind of affected him in a way how he is now older, because he sees himself in his world alone, even though he has two siblings like me and my sister. So yeah,
Yeah.
it really affected it, like really, like at the beginning, like when we was like living down the street from each other, it affected really bad. Yeah, he will come down and he will play with us, but majority of the time he was always in the house.
Right. Right.
And yeah, so that right there really, like, you know.
And I guess you're a similar age to me, so I guess it's natural for our age to be. We don't really, when we was younger at least, if you're not playing out in the street, you're playing in the house. You don't always have loads of people in, or if you're playing like video games or board games or something, it's in the house. So
Hmm.
it's easy just to say to your sister, "Hey, come play," because she's there all the time. So it's a
Hmm.
bit more when, even if it is just a few doors down, it's not always the easiest thing, I guess, for any of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Me and my sister, when it came around Christmas, we got whatever we wanted. When
Right.
the new Nintendo came out, we got it. When Power Rangers was like the thing, we got it. When they came out with the Easy Bake Oven, the the little Jeep Wrangler that they have that you can drive around in the street,
Yep. Yep.
we had all of that, and my brother didn't really have that because my grandma wasn't working at the time and stuff like that.
Right.
So she, like I
I
said,
can
she became like, you know, jealous of because of what we had and my brother didn't. But
Yeah.
my aunt couldn't buy the things that she wanted to because she did want to buy stuff from my aunt, not from her aunt, from my brother. But the thing
Yeah.
about it is that she saw it as, if my grandma's taking care of her and my grandma's being this way, you know, why should I like go all out for him? And she also felt like she wasn't gonna be appreciative. Like it
Right.
still was gonna be the same regardless what my aunt did for,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That makes
before we knew Santa Claus was,
Oh, real shush.
I'm sorry, kids, don't look at this.
I haven't got much for that I wanted for the last few years, so I'm probably on the naughty list right now. No, actually, I've got quite a lot what I wanted, but yeah, we'll stick with Santa's. Santa's busy. Um, so you was living with your aunt until you was 14,
Yes.
and then did you move back to your mum, or did you go elsewhere?
Uh, I went to her sister actually.
Okay.
Yeah, her my aunt stayed near this place called this little town called Overtown in Miami, and
Okay.
her sister stayed in near Hialeah. So I moved to Hialeah with my sister, my brother, and yeah, my sister and brother basically. We all
Was,
moved over to my aunt's house in Hialeah.
and was that the first time all three of you was living together?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was the
How
first
was
time I
that?
was. At first, it was. Whew. At first, it was, it wasn't all all good, but my aunt kept us in check. Like she kept us together, and then we learned to, like, all of us got along. There were times where we used to, like, not fist fight, but, like, have a
Push and
little
shove.
tussle,
Yeah.
because my brother, he would make fun of my sister, and so I was so overprotective of my sister.
Yeah.
So my sister would come in the room and be like, "Damn, man, Darren hit me," and I'd be like, I go to him and be like, "Why are you hitting my sister?" And me and him would go at it, but not bad, like, not blood or anything like
Yeah.
that, but just a little headlock or whatever. But yeah, at first it was rocky, but then my aunt kept us in check. So we, over time, the relationship between all of us got so much better. There was one time where I must admit it did get bad, and my mom sat down with us and talked to us and told us this thing that I will always remember is that you only got one brother and you only got one sister,
Hmm.
and that's it. Even if you don't, even if you don't want to, you wish you wasn't born in this family. They are your family, and no matter what you're going through in life with them, always fix it because there's gonna be a day where we leave this earth, and you don't want to leave this earth like knowing like you you didn't have that relationship you really wanted with your siblings
Yeah.
or even with any of your family. But that's the thing she used to
I
tell us,
really struggle.
and so ever since then, like we've all
Are
like
you there
clicked.
still? Your
We've all
picture is
like
froze.
keep in touch with each other when everything's going
Have I lost you?
when things going on. We call each other and each other, or if something's going on with mom, one of them will call me, and we call the other. So it's
Okay. So what I really struggle with is I have two sisters,
mm,
and I've done an episode recently where the person I was talking to doesn't talk to her family anymore. Sorry, his family anymore. Doesn't talk with the family. Has nothing else to do with them whatsoever, due to personal reasons. And I really, really can't imagine doing anything so terrible that my sisters wouldn't want to talk to me anymore, or not having that relationship with my sisters. I say all the time they're my closest friends. They're my forever best friends, and I just can't imagine not being that way with them. So what your mum was saying about having one brother and one sister, and you do whatever for them, I somewhat agree. I do kind of think sometimes, you know, if you really aren't the same kind of people, whether it's your family or your friends, it's not the end of the world to break that relationship off and just become
mhm,
acquaintances and just be friendly to each other. But I
mhm,
do think that, as I think coming from my point of view, with it being my sisters and being so close to them, I can't imagine not making up if we fell out. I can't remember the last time we fell out anyway, but I can't imagine not being in some sort of relationship with them.
yeah, that's true. I can't imagine that either.
Yeah,
Like they are my support system,
yeah,
and they've always been there for me. Ever since we've been growing up and stuff. Like ever since we lived with each other and so forth, they've
yeah.
always been there for me.
I know that I have one sister that will tell me what I need to hear, and one that somewhat tells me what I need to hear, but more that what I want to hear, or will talk things out. So they're great for both things. And they're both younger than me, and they're both probably wiser than me as well. But I'll let them have that. That's fine.
Oh, my brother, my sister, and me, we're all Capricorn, so we gonna tell each other how it is all the time, and we also accept it. So
Yeah,
yeah, so I agree with you saying right there. Like they tell me how it is, regardless if I want to hear it or not, even though I know I need it, and I
yeah.
do the same with them as well.
And I think that's sometimes a good thing because if they tell you what you need to hear, it's sometimes a perspective that you've not thought about because when you're thinking about it, you're thinking about it with feelings, and when they're telling you with the head because they
Hmm.
aren't in the emotion, which is cool way of looking at it. So maybe that's something. Um, we're going to move on a little bit to something a little bit obviously not as happy times. Um, your grandmother, your great aunt, and another aunt all passed away the same year. So
Yeah.
for 14 years of your life, you were brought up by these people, your brother as well, obviously by your grandmother, and
Hmm.
then it's a it's a big deal to lose one, but then all three in 1 year. How do you think that affected you?
it it affected me a lot. Uh, Losing my the aunt I moved with in Hialeah. By her name, her name is Flossie, so I call her Aunt Flossie. It I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
It affected me a lot because I she raised me as well,
Right.
and my relationship with her was really really close. Like she after her husband died, she always called me the man of the house because I always, even at the age of 14, I was always fixing things in the house. She taught me a lot of a lot of things, like when it comes to doing things around the house, um, teaching me how to be a man.
Hmm.
It it really really affected me really bad. Like I almost got into like deep depression,
Right.
and I had to fight out of it
Yeah.
because if I knew if I went down that route, I would probably be like, I won't be who I am today. I will probably be like miserable. I probably want to be alone. I probably don't want to talk to nobody or
Yeah.
be friendly or anything like that. So like it really 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 affected me because I called my godmother my second mom, but she was like a third mom to me. Besides my real mom, she was like a third mom to me. And like I still remember the day that I got a call going to work in the middle of the expressway,
Oh.
and my brother called me and told me that she died, and I had to rush home, and I had to pick her up and put her in the bed that the corners, not the corners, but the funeral home brings.
Yeah.
And during that whole time, I just like boohoo cried and cried and cried because not only did she go, but for me to pick up her body and put it on a bed, it was like I don't even know how I got through that day. I honestly don't know how I got through that day. And then my aunt, which is my sister's mom, my sister's mom, but my sister's my my mom's sister. Okay, sorry, my mom's sister. uh, she was suffering from breast cancer, so
Right.
she was literally in the hospital. And when my aunt Flossie died, she was also close to her too because my aunt Flossie used to take care of my cousin, my little cousin who was like, he's kind of autistic,
Right.
and she used to take care of him and stuff. So when she found that out, she the one thing she told us, she was like, I can't, I don't want to fight anymore, like because she had breast cancer. So I think she was at stage 4, I believe.
Right.
Is that the last stage, right? Stage 4.
I think so. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. Whatever stage was the last one, she was on that stage, and she told us, she's like, I don't want to fight anymore. Like I don't want to fight this anymore. Like if it's my time to go, I'd rather be with Aunt Flossie.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, a month later, she passed away. So yeah,
It's
it
rough.
was it was so, the month of July and the month of August were like, it was like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah. My my nana passed away around 10 years ago now.
I'm sorry to
And
hear that.
thank you. Um my nana wasn't ill. There was nothing wrong with her. She just dropped dead. And I can remember that day like it was just like I can feel myself tearing up thinking, because whenever I even think about her, it it always affects me. Um and I always think, well, I wasn't brought up by my nana,
Mm-hmm.
but the effect that she had on my life would is going to live with me forever. Like silly little things that she did, or things that she taught me, to the tiny little things, like crafty things, and um, little sayings that she had, and that's somebody who was a big part of my life, but didn't bring me up. Um, in the sense, like she brought me up in a sense, but not in the sense of the people who brought you up did. And it's so difficult, and it's like you said, it is an emotional roller coaster. I can remember every single thing that happened on the day that my nana died, but I think it's because I blocked it out to a point where it doesn't seem real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know if that's similar to how you felt with having to lift her up and put her on the bed. It's like it doesn't seem like it's reality anymore, so you just go in with it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, it did. Cause we grow up and we think that the people that's in our life, like our mom or dad, or that's older in our life too, our grandma or great aunt or whatever. We think that when we're growing up that they can live forever, and we don't
Like
we
vice
don't really
versa.
come to we don't really come to our senses to think that like one day they're gonna be gone. And as we get older, we start to do our own little thing. We start to go out to parties. We start to do this. We start to do that. And when they're gone, you have, I don't know if you had it, but I had a little regret because there was times where my aunt wanted to talk to me. I was too busy. I was, doing my own little life, going to work and stuff like that. And I didn't make the time to talk to her when she wanted to have a conversation. Or I didn't, make the time to go visit her and stuff. So like there's things that I want to do and I didn't do, and it's like I felt so much regret inside.
That was
And
something that I struggled with. I used to go and visit my nana every single Saturday. I wasn't doing anything, so every single Saturday I went to visit my nana, and we used to have dinner and watch the English version of "Come Dance with Me." Is it that what it's called over here? You know, the dancing competition show.
is it so you think you can? Is it
But
so you
oh
think you can
no,
dance?
more like Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. Okay, okay.
Yes. So we used to sit and watch the English version of that, and that was
Mm,
every Saturday. And the Saturday before she died, I know that she got in contact with my sister who couldn't go and see her. But she also texted me and said, "What time are you coming round?" And I said, "I'm not. I've got to work tomorrow. I'll come next weekend, or I'll come over in the week." Um, and she said, "Are you sure? Because I'm going to make dinner, and we can do whatever." I don't think that the dancing was on at the time, but she said, "We'll have dinner and we can watch TV for a bit." And I said, "No, I'm going to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to get an early night. I'll see you next week." And then she died the next day. And for the longest time, because I went to a therapist for a little while about it, and I don't know if I've ever really spoke out loud about that. I went to a therapist for a few months, and for the longest time, I couldn't let go that the feeling of letting her down, and making her disappointed that I hadn't gone round. Like she wouldn't have been upset as
mm,
such. She might have been for a minute, oh, wish she could come round, whatever. But that feeling stayed with me for longer than I thought it would. Even now, I beat myself up about it sometimes. Um, but yeah, I can relate to exactly what you're saying with that one.
I agree.
How do you how do you think I'm going to try and talk a little bit happier? So, how do you think your people who brought you up, your mum as well, have made you the person you are today?
um, I'm sorry.
You don't have to say sorry.
they were they were genuine people. Like if anybody need help, they would help them out. They're always polite. they they had values. Like they had real, values. So like they implement that in me,
Right.
and I honestly thank them for that, because a lot of people, you know, growing up, a lot of people would tell me like, how you are so different from, well, the stereotype of a black person or whatever. I'm sorry to get into that subject, but
Oh no,
it's
that's
it's
fine.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, the stereotype of a black person is how they talk and how they
Yeah.
are and things like that. But people will tell me like, you are so different. Like the way you talk, how how respectful you are,
Mhm.
and those things, like you don't really see that. And like they even joke around and be like, you got some, like, like some white or Hispanic in you or anything like that. Because of how you are, and like they implemented that in me to be a good person, no matter what you're going through in life, or no matter how somebody does you wrong. Like at the end of the day, you all you can be is all, all you can be is all you can be is a good person. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
I just think that they just implemented that in me, and they made me who I am today.
I think that more than anything, these last few weeks, again, I do not talk politics, or I don't really talk much religion, but
Hmm.
definitely don't talk politics. And the reason being is because I believe we can all have different thoughts, different values, different beliefs, but we can all be nice people. So we can all have different thoughts, but we can all be nice
Yeah.
and kind and genuine, and we can all still get along. And I've said that so many times this week, it's ridiculous. But we can be nice people, and to be shaped by people who make you nice and make you kind and make you genuine is one of the best gifts somebody can give to you, is to bring you up right. And it is a gift.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's a gift that we should cherish very much as well.
Yeah, because you don't really see that a lot. You really don't. There's people that's been growing up differently, and they've been taught different values and stuff,
Yeah.
so they act the way they act, how they are now. But I mean, I feel like, me, in my opinion, in reality, people do things that might be bad, but I feel like they don't want to. I feel like they don't, like yeah, like they don't want to. It's just that what they were grew up and what they know,
Yes. Yes.
and what was implemented in them.
Yes. And this is a bit extreme saying it like this, but um, I've never taken a drug, never done anything like that. Never really smoked. I drink, but not in excess. But I've never been on that kind of scene to drink in excess or to take drugs. And sometimes I think if you just happen to have been with that crowd who their friends before you and their older siblings or older friends have kind of been in that environment, that shapes you to, like, peer pressure, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're growing up in one direction, that's the kind of friendships and things you seek anyway.
Hmm.
Um, the more genuine, the nicer kind of friendships. Like, I have nothing against any person in the world, but I wouldn't draw myself to somebody who spouts hate or is going to sit all day smoking weed, for example. It's just not my thing.
Right.
I've got nothing against anyone who does, but I wouldn't necessarily draw myself to sit in a room and just get high all day, because that's just not the kind of person I am.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's kind of, how I've been brought up. And I,
Right.
I think that from what you're saying, that's the same for you. I'm not saying what you would or wouldn't do, but
Hmm.
you would draw yourself to the nicer, friendlier kind of people.
No, yeah. Also, too, you do, because when you go into high school and stuff like that, and you get older, you do get drawn into those crowds. Like you do get drawn to those crowds where they want you to do this or they want you to do that. And I've been drawn to a crowd where I'm sorry to say this, that they want to smoke weed. I've
Yeah.
been drawn into a crowd where they want to smoke cigarettes and stuff like that. And I had to like really like sit back
Hmm.
and realize like this is not me.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like there are crowds that like they just want to sit there and smoke weed the whole day and not do anything with their life and not, go out or not,
Yes.
do stuff. And like I was drawn to that. Like I had a crowd that was like that, but then I had to step back and realize like that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I stopped. They got mad at me, but I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't care. I had to
Yeah.
stop hanging out with
You're
them
right.
because that's not who I am. I was
Yes.
trying to be, because everybody tries to be in a crowd where they want to fit in and they want to have a group of friends that that want to hang out and stuff like that. But they do this on the side. But at the end of the day, I was like, nah, this is not me. This
Yeah.
this is not the person I am, and This is not the person I want to become, and do
Yes.
this all the time and not do anything with my life or not. So
Now, I'm not saying that everyone who smokes weed is bad because one of my closest friends over here does smoke, um, but her and her partner don't sit all day and do nothing.
no, yeah, yeah, agree. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like the
yeah,
people, the people that like actually just do it all day and don't do nothing, don't get a
yeah,
job, don't go out, don't
yeah.
don't do nothing, living off their mom and stuff like that. No,
You're in.
that's the crowd that tried to draw me to that, and
Right,
I had
right.
to draw myself out of that because that's not who I am and that's not who
Yeah,
I want to become. Because I was in a crowd like that before because we used to like sit in the back of this guy's mom's house. He had his own little thing, and all we did was watch YouTube videos, play video games, and just smoke the whole day. And then there was one day like they called me to come over, and I was like, "Wait a minute, like no, I can't." I was like, "No, I'm sorry." I was like, "Okay." They kept calling me to come over days after. I said no, and they got bothered and they got mad and stopped talking to me. But I was like, that showed me like you wasn't really my friend. You
yeah,
just wanted me there so I can, smoke and chill out with you guys and stuff like that.
yeah,
So like yeah, I had to get myself out of that because I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be sitting there and smoking all
yeah.
day and not doing anything with my life.
And I think as well, going back to high school, that's the age that really affects your brain, and that's where your path is initially started. Like you can do everything leading up to that, but 16, 17, when your path is starting to develop and
Hmm.
in the wrong path from high school can affect the rest of your life.
Right. Yep.
So
Right. Because they were my high school friends that I grew up with,
yeah,
and yeah, so I had to get away from that. I care for them, but nah, I can't be like that.
no. And at the end of the day, it's your life that you have to protect and your mental health that you need to look after. So you've got to do what's best for you, and that's number one. That's what matters.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm gonna kind of wrap up there a little bit because I think we have discussed quite a lot.
Hmm.
Um, thank you so much for being open and honest with me today.
No
Um,
problem.
I would actually love to get you back on if you'd be interested. No pressure, you don't
Of
have to say
course.
either way. Um, but I would like to explore more. Um, so there is something else that obviously I was going to ask you about that I haven't spoke to you about today.
Uh huh.
Um, maybe we do another episode about that one.
Okay.
Um, because I think that that is quite in depth. Um, so before I do let you go, do you have any final thoughts or any messages that you'd like to get out there to anyone who may be growing up with people that aren't their immediate parents, or are struggling with relationships with their siblings? Anything that you'd like to, or any advice that you have?
Nothing comes to mind. Like I have so much, but it's like at the when it gets like at the tip of your tongue when you want to say something, but it's like I mean, I,
I think that what people need to remember is, again, they're not on their own, it's not just them.
mm,
And finding a really good support system to talk about things is important when you're not sure what direction you're going in or how to
mm,
feel. And it sounds like you had a really good support system. So I think that that's why that's come to my mind. It's the support system you had and still have now, because obviously I know of your friend.
yeah,
Um, I think you have a very, very good support system, and I think that helps and has helped shaped who you
I
are.
yeah, I do have a really good support system. I
Yeah,
don't know where I'd be without them.
yeah, that's
I
good.
think if you, I think I agree with you. If you have that, you will never feel or you'll never be alone because
Yes,
at the end of the day, you will always have them, and they will always have your back, no matter what you go through in life.
yeah. No, I completely agree. With that, thank you ever so much. I've really enjoyed chatting to you today. It's been really nice. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
I know that there was a little bit of nerves beforehand, but thank you very
Whew,
much.
you have no idea.
Um, and as always, this is going to be online shortly. If anyone wants to reach out, if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to. Please feel free to get in touch. And until next time, thank you for listening.